Hello and welcome to Knowledge by Nature. In today's video, we're going to be doing an update for our second month of second grade. So if that's something you're interested in, stick around. All right, welcome back. If this is your first time here, I am a homeschool mom to a second grader. We love all things books, homeschool, and sharing our journey with you. And if that is something that you're interested in, I would love if you consider hitting that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. If you are returning, welcome back. It is always awesome to have you joining me again. It is pretty incredible that we are looking at our second month into the school year already. I just can't even believe that we are in the first week of November. And so I just wanted to do an update. Surprisingly, there are quite a few different changes that have been made or are coming up. So if you missed our first month update, I will go ahead and insert that right here as well as down in the description below. And that way, if you want to see what we were maybe doing the first month that we're not doing this month, you can check that out here. All right, the first thing I'm going to jump into is our basket. And so as you can see, our cart has changed a little bit if you saw us from the first time. And one of the things that I did is I took out all the things that we weren't using. So if we weren't using it, it came out of here. So that is one of the biggest differences. And then something I started the very last week of October actually is I started an independent day where almost everything that she does is things that she doesn't need me to teach her for. So everything that is independent got moved into this section. And then that also becomes a digital day where we are doing maybe some Adventure Academy. We're doing our night zookeeper and just different things like that, as well as we are trying out Beast Academy. That is something that she does need me a little bit for, but as soon as we're kind of warmed up with it, she won't need me so much. So this is our independent work. We are continuing on with my printing book. So with this, we go over and make sure that she understands the way that we're supposed to be doing the lettering. She's beginning to understand how that is done, so she's able to do this more independently. There is a section in the page where you check your work, and so on those sections, she doesn't do the check your work section. She does that where I can actually see the way that she is writing, and I can kind of tell a big difference where she is writing it the way that they've instructed it and the way that she decides to write it. So I'm able to see the difference in that now, but we are going along with that. We are continuing with our 180 days of social studies. Again, I don't love this, but it's great for independent work. I think I may start phasing it out a little bit on days where it's not just truly independent or where there might be a morning where we jump right into it. We've been doing this morning routine where she comes in and she starts her independent work, and then we will jump into the things that we need to do. But on days where we're just jumping in together, we're just going to omit this because I don't feel that it's so important that it needs to be done every day, but it is nice as a resource to have for those days. We are getting very close to finishing this up. I think we're on page 45, and there's only, 61 pages in there, I think. So I will be getting the next grade of this just because I like this. It's quick. It's a good way to address our grammar issues and things like that. I like this. It's short and sweet, and I like it. We did not do this at all in October, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it in there because it's, again, an independent work where if I wanted her to do this, she could. Something that I have added for October and I absolutely love and has gotten me to question how our school year's going this year, actually. It just feels wonky, is the best way that I can explain it. It's not that it's bad, it's just so much different. And this right here, more specifically, this right here, actually got me to really thinking about what are we doing this year. And so I'm making some changes. And I feel like for some reason this year is just starting so much differently than last year. I feel that we did a ton of reading. We did a ton of together time. And this year just feels weird. So this kind of has spurred me into thinking, you know what, maybe I'm relying too much on my curriculum and I need to work back into creating my own unit studies. This dictionary, super fun. It's just difficult words that you're not really going to use on a normal basis. They are just very odd words. So sometimes we will use this. Other times she is using this elementary dictionary. So I just grabbed this off of eBay. It is a used version, so it's already had some love, but that's perfectly fine. What I have her do is I have her come in and I have her find a word. Again, this is all independently. She finds a word, she copies the word, she writes down whether it's a noun, an adjective, a verb, whatever it is, and then she writes a sentence in this book here that has her word in it or is describing her word, as well as puts a picture in. So for example, here's something that we did last week. She did it a little bit different on this side. So she looked up lamb. It was a noun. She put a lamb has pink skin, and then I have her add the page number here. Over here, she did a lynx. It was a noun. A lynx has pointed ear tips. So we kind of notice where we might need to correct some spelling. She wrote her page number down for me. And this time she wanted to use my little printer to print off a picture of the lynx because she said it was so difficult. So this composition notebook we are using for this. In addition to, we started doing something else that I'm loving, which is called story mapping. So story mapping is where I will pretty much write everything and she is just answering verbally. But we read a book or a book that she has read. So it's either a book that she's read or a book that we read together. Both of these she was doing as independent reads. We talk about the book title, the author, the main characters, the setting, the problem in the book, and the solution, and then I have her rate it. And then I have her tell me her favorite thing about that book. I really, really like this. I think it's a great way for us to be able to keep track of the books that she's reading, as well as making sure that there's some comprehension of what she is reading. So this is something else that we've started in our composition notebook. Wonderful changes that I'm very, very much enjoying, and I am trying to navigate back to how a homeschool used to be, which I realize as she gets older, things are going to be harder and we're going to have to do things differently, but it just feels so odd this year that I'm trying to bring it back a little bit closer to what it was. Which now brings me over here to Story of the World. Last month we were only reading this book, which was great, but I felt like I needed more from history. So I pulled this back out and I pulled this back out. We are not always doing the activity book. Most of the time we are, though. She might not like the coloring page or the map work. We might not do that, but we are doing at least one activity a week to go with this, as well as I'm asking her the comprehension questions again to make sure that she's getting what she needs to out of it, that she's understanding and comprehending what we're reading, and that she is listening to me. Because I do allow her to do other things while I read out loud. And when she knows that she's going to have to answer some questions, I notice that she pays a little bit better attention. And then this book is so good. I completely forgot about using this. I don't know. I just forgot to bring it out this year. But it is awesome for getting some really good visualization for what we're studying. So for instance, we're on Rome right now. So we're getting to look at all of these images of the things that we're talking about. She has been enthralled with this Roman gladiator thing right now. We made a Roman cuff. She got on Minecraft and she built a Colosseum. So I don't know if it's adding all of these things back in that has kind of got her a little bit more spirited about this, or if it's simply because Rome is really, really interesting. So that is a big change with our Story of the World. I have this in here because this was our last little tinker activity, and there was some things that we didn't get to do that I want to do, so I have that right here. Okay. All right. I'm still not crazy about spelling. So we kept doing this. We are on week 8, I think. She was going to start week 9 at the end of October, and I told her to stop because I have purchased something else. So I just think she needs more. And while I would like to give her this and just have independent work, she's not a strong speller. So she needs me to help. She needs me to teach her the spelling. Now, you may be thinking, oh, well, I'm going back to All About Spelling. I'm not. I have purchased traditional spelling from Memorial Press. I have not even really looked through this yet. I watched a few videos, I found a few blogs, and I feel like this looks like it could possibly be a combination of All About Spelling and some of the workbook pages out of Evan Moore. There's a little bit of color coding to this, like Spelling You See. So this almost looks like it's a 3-in-1. I don't know if it will be, but I picked up the teacher's manual, the practice sheets, the student workbook, the supplemental workbook key, and the classical phonics, which I don't really think we needed. But I did see where some people said you do. So again, I'm trying to get a good speller, so I went ahead and got it, so that maybe there's something in there that just really helps it click. If not, I can pass this on to a family member that is beginning their phonics program, and that will be fine. But we will be starting this in November. I haven't even read through it to know how I'm supposed to do it yet, but I have some high hopes for this, just because I feel like it's incorporating 3 of like a really popular type of spelling programs into one. Randomly found it one day, and so we're gonna roll with it and see how we feel. All right, back to our basket. We did a chapter of Two Truths and a Lie, which that's my goal, is to do 1 chapter a month. I don't think we read this in October. It's so little, it kind of hides down in there. So I'm going to pull this out to the front so I will remember to read our November one. Life of Fred, I think we only did once that month, but that's okay. This is just kind of filling in when we're kind of having a relaxing day or something like that, which this is another thing, like, where are my relaxing days? I need to add these back in. I need to really evaluate our schedule and get that feel back again. I don't know. And maybe it's just a season of it. I don't have the feels. I don't know. This is just our little notebook that we do different writing in. And then back here is my brilliant ideas from Wonderful Women. Guess what? I forgot to do it in October. I did. I forgot to do this, and I forgot to do this, and I didn't do this. So these 3 things did not get done in October. And to be honest, I don't know that they'll get done in November, because I want to focus on a Thanksgiving unit, and I also want to focus on finding my mojo or figuring out why ever this feels so wonky. So I'm going to add this little guy back to the front. I'm going to take this out and put it on my shelf that is currently like sidebarred. And so that's where this is going to go. And then let's go over here to the next bookshelf. All right, before we go to the next bookshelf, actually, these are some of the library books, and so you can definitely see a theme here. I want to do a pretty good study on the Thanksgiving, the Native Americans, and so I just picked up quite a few little chapter books that are covering Thanksgiving, Christopher Columbus, the Native Americans, the first Thanksgiving, things like that, in addition to, oh, that's just a little fun I Spy book. In addition to, I found a printable from Teachers Pay Teachers that I think I'm going to add in for this month also. So next month I anticipate looking a little bit different, simply because I kind of want to jump back on that unit study thing, and then I know I have a unit study again in December, and I miss the unit studies. This is another thing I have her do on that Independent Day, is for at least 10 minutes I have her work on this massive dot to dot, and so I just have this in here. She was working on one the other day, but I don't know which one it is, but as you can see, it is really big. Oh, here it is. She was working with this one. So you start and you stop at different things, and it's just giant. It's really cool. And so I just keep this in the basket so that she knows where to find it. Now, let's go to the bookshelf. All right, so I have a lot of stuff on the bookshelf here, as you can see. For our reading, we had finished up Little House in the Big Woods. For October, we finished up Little House on the Prairie. And then we started Farmer Boy, and we are about 50% done with this one. Again, we're actually doing all of these as audiobooks, which is just really nice. We're listening to those of a night. And then after Farmer Boy, I think I'm going to take a pause on this because I have some books coming up for the season of December that I really want to get into. Plus, we're reading another book. We are also reading Ichabod together, so I would like to finish this. So when Farmer Boy is completely finished, this will go over into our nighttime reading if we don't finish it during the day. She is currently independently reading Bad Kitty Gets a Bath, and then we are co-reading The Kingdom of Renly, and we only have like 4 chapters left of this. And then we will move over into some of those books that I showed you from our morning basket for co-reading together. I highly recommend co-reading together, and how we do this is she reads the left-hand side of the page, I read the right-hand side of the page. The inflection that she's getting in her voice by co-reading with me is really, really improving. So when there is an exclamation, she's making sure that her voice is showing that tone. So definitely recommend co-reading together just because I see how well her verbal reading is getting. All right, now moving on to this. Since I have went ahead and decided not to do All About Spelling Level 2, I went ahead and moved all of my All About Reading cards back into my little small box here, just so that it doesn't take up quite as much space. I still have my other box for if I pick up level 2 again, I can just put everything back in there. And then I just have our 2 All About Reading level books right here. Nothing has changed with All About Reading. We are continuing it as is. We love it. It works wonderful. We are actually going really, really slow with this one because we are doing so much co-reading and independent reading together. But she asked me last week if we could speed it up because she just kind of wants to finish it because she gets a prize whenever she finishes a curriculum. So we may pick it back up a little bit quicker, but I really think probably not in November or December because of the holidays and the unit studies. But then after that, we may speed it up a little bit. But right now, we're only doing like 2 lessons a week. And so I think that's really a pretty good schedule, honestly, because we're going to finish it well before the 2nd grade is over. But again, she wants to finish it early, so we will probably go ahead and do that. Another one that has changed a lot is a Sassafras Science. So this one has changed quite a bit for us, actually. We have put the workbooks away, and we are only utilizing this as a read aloud. We're not doing any of the extra stuff with this. We read this of a night and sometimes during the day, just depending how long the chapter might be. But yes, we're only reading this, and it's almost for entertainment value only. So we're reading this as only a read aloud. We're not doing any of the workbook pages, none of the lap booking with it. We're only reading it aloud. I will, when it gets to the section right here where it shows like the little side app for the Sassafras twins, we will make sure that I have like really covered both of these 2 things really well when it gets to that section of the book. Or we might talk about a location or a geography. All of this is in the lap book. You would do different things with it. We're not doing that. We're reading this. She enjoys the story. We're reading it for the read aloud factor. We are continuing on with our Tinker Active. We love both of these. I try to use them sparingly because they're not huge. And you could split this up to where you do a few pages throughout the week, but that's not what she wants to do. She wants to do like a whole thing at once so that she can get to the activity. So I try to use these once a week. This one maybe once, this one the next week, so that they are lasting us longer because she likes them so much. We would fly through these if it was up to her. Here is my super fun dictionary of difficult words. This we are continuing on, but we are using it really quickly. We're not really doing the enrichment anymore, except for this one particular where we're doing the months of the year poem breakdown, we're doing that, but the rest of the enrichment ones we're not doing. We're talking about the verbs, the adverbs. We're really cutting back on the amount of repeating that we're doing, but I'm using it to make sure that we cover everything, but I'm not using it as it is intended. But that's okay. We did a skill sharpeners. We did the bats and bugs, which is around the time of Halloween, so it was really fun getting to do that. This was really fun. I like this, and I would like to do maybe one a month. Again, this is not going to be in November and December because I am holding off on this until January, but we did like this in October. Okay, primary mathematics. We are on chapter 2 of this curriculum, and we are on, I think, day 18 of 27 for chapter 2. It's kind of funny how they split these out. They put chapter 1 and however many days it is, chapter 2 and however many days it is, and there are 27 days in chapter 2. I still have not put out a review on this because I'm just really torn. There are such good things about both primary mathematics and the new primary mathematics. She loves the character. She likes the coloring in the books. She likes the amount of work that is given in the student workbook. It honestly seems a little bit easy in my opinion, so I don't know if there's a little bit of a difference in that versus primary mathematics or if it has just kind of clicked for her. I don't know if we'll go to this for 2B or not yet. I think we probably will, but if you are looking at this and you're putting into the fact that it's got STEM activities and stuff like that, I haven't been impressed with the STEM activity, but I do love the amount of work that is in the student workbook. We have not used this except for maybe once at the very beginning. It's not necessary. It's not something that we are needing right now, so we're not using it. But I love primary mathematics. I'm just a little torn on what I'm going to do for 2B, but we have started playing with Beast Academy as an extra additional difficulty. So it's nice to really learn the basics of primary math and the way that they teach and the concepts. And then we get this super extra difficult work with Beast Academy. So I'm liking pairing those two things together for sure. I definitely will stick with primary mathematics. I just don't know if I'll go back to the original or if I'll stay with 2022. I'm sorry that I cannot help you with your decision on that yet because I don't know. Skill Sharpener Science, we haven't done anything with this because usually if we're doing one of these, we're going to do Tinker Active, but I expect to like this one, and again, it'll be something I pick up probably in January, but not right now. I have been using this in conjunction with the difficult words and the dictionary that I showed you over in the basket. This is just a really nice visual guide of adjectives and verbs and nouns and all of those things. It just gives them a visual for what that word might be. So we have been using this as a resource with this time here that we're spending using with our grammar. Then we have our Song School Spanish, and we haven't used this. Not that it's not good, but I don't know. There's just something going on. I don't know if we're too workbook heavy. I just haven't done it. So I don't know. Then she loved Mindbenders 1. She finished that up, so I picked up Mindbenders 2 for her. And then the only two things here are some extra little notebooks that she uses. And then just real quickly, I will show you some of the things that I sidebarred, which if you saw in my first update, is that this just doesn't work for me right now. I want to love it, but I just can't ever get going. So I have sidebarred that. I have also sidebarred my writing with ease because I enjoy the writing that we are doing together with our notebook over there and pulling out the dictionary and writing our own sentences and our story maps. So this has been sidebarred right now, so we may come back to it or we may not. Again, I have sidebarred our Sassafras Science workbooks because I don't need the teacher's manual and I don't need the lap book or the log book when we are using it for simply a read aloud purpose and kind of just filling in some of the information as we go. Then our building spelling skills has been sidebarred. This one got sidebarred last month too because I didn't touch it. This one is sidebarred right now just because I don't have the need for it, but it is going to be good for when we are road schooling and we're going to be gone in December. So I will probably be taking this with me, and this may be the only thing that I take with us besides what we can do with our electronics, which are Night Zookeeper, Beast Academy, and Adventure Academy. Those are the 3 electronic teaching devices that we have right now. And this is just a Star Wars workbook that talks about reading that we haven't gotten to yet. So this is all the things that are sidebarred for right now. How long they'll be there, I don't know, but they're always right here, easily accessible. All right, I hope that you found this helpful in some way, or at least entertaining as you see me struggle. Again, the homeschool year is not going bad. It's not bad at all. It just feels so different, and I just want to get back to a little bit more of me making my own things. And I really think this Thanksgiving unit study is going to bring me even more inspiration, as that story map and that dictionary did. So I'm excited. I really, really hope I have some positive things to say for spelling. And yes, thank you so much for watching. So again, if you enjoyed it, give me that thumbs up. I love it. YouTube loves it, but especially I love it because I know that you guys have enjoyed the content. So if you did, love those thumbs up. Consider hitting that subscribe button. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye, friends.